tax-free. This is a big problem right now. We're seeing this happen a lot, and I'm sure a lot of listeners out there say to themselves, man, David, please clear this up, because I think people get, misunderstood on the tax-free side when the majority of funds when you retire aren't tax-free at all. They're actually tax-deferred. The only tax-free account, if you're out there, that you have is probably going to be a Roth IRA. And sadly, the IRS makes you have a contribution limit to that, so you can't put in all your funds that you want, right? You've got your 401k that you can put in, I think, over 4 times the amount that you can in your Roth. Okay, so a lot of different styles, right? In the past, 30, 40 years, the IRS changing rules. But the gist of things, a lot of you out there have tax-deferred accounts. And the difference about that is that, yes, you didn't pay the taxes on those funds, even if you think you did. I have clients all the time that say, man, David, I think I paid taxes. No. They took it either out of your paycheck when you were, paying into whether your healthcare or whatever you're doing. You have your own 401k account, which is tax deferred, or and they actually match you on those too, which I'm sure you guys know, or you've contributed to an IRA or a SEP IRA, self-employed IRA, or, something of that nature. And that's the same type, right? So, you get these funds, you don't have to pay taxes on those funds up front, but as earnings come in down the road, when you start to take them out after you're 59 and a half, you have to start paying taxes to the IRS. Sadly, the have to part is the one that everyone doesn't want to hear, right? Now, the biggest problem with that is no one wants to really know, no one knows how to do that efficiently. And people think, oh, I just can, take out money for certain tax brackets here and there. There are definitely many ways that people think that they can take advantage of this. Actually, some people, and I'm sure some of you out there are, I'm hitting this on the head with you guys. You don't know that you can actually take it out. People have 401ks. I ran across a client literally last week, and they said, David, well, I can't touch my 401k, and they're 61 years old.
Yeah.
And I said, what do you mean you can't touch your 401k? Because I'm like, I'm pretty 99% positive. Now, there's some small cases that companies say, hey, you have to be, if it's a 403B or something like that, you have to be done with the company in order to take out all your money. Mm-hmm. Well, when you're 59 and a half, you get the advantage to where a lot of companies won't tell you, but you can actually roll over your funds from your 401k or your 403B. Okay, so this is where things get tricky. And people are like, well, rolling over into what? It's a non-taxable event. You roll it over into that IRA. But we won't get too much into that because we've got some more down the road. We're going to kind of make things easier to understand. But, right, that tax-deferred account, when you start taking income off that, when you do retire or when you plan to retire, what I think is the most important thing to understand here is tax-deferred accounts, okay, are meant for growth and compounding until you retire, okay? But there is a point when you are about to retire that you need to plan those tax-deferred assets accordingly. This is what I specialize in, and this is what people don't understand, and a lot of advisors are trained the wrong way. People want to keep them in the market fully aggressive and maybe even in something that's not growing. You either need one or two options. One is you continue to be aggressive and grow. If you are doing that, okay, the money is not meant to be used. Do not, like Warren Buffett always says, okay, if you're going to buy a stock or any stock of nature, make sure that you understand that you're going to be holding that for 10 years or more, and don't think less of it. All right. So don't say, I'm going to stay in the market till I retire. Position your assets for income early. If you know that you're going to need income and that's going to be a necessity in your retirement, and you're going to have a loss of income when that time comes, right? No pension, your Social Security is not going to cover everything, right? We've went over this in further episodes and in prior episodes. You've got to plan for down the road for income, and I cannot stress it enough. So again, if that's a major concern out there, and I know this is probably, I wanted to do this for this episode because I think a lot of people out there are very confused and they're not understanding properly on how to transition that 401k money into an income producing asset, or maybe even what to do or how to even do it, right? That's when you guys can give me a call. I can easily help you. It's a sit down consultation. It's absolutely free. There's no obligation at all. Even if I can, teach you something there and give you some education, that's what it's all about. So again, guys, that number is 850-565 1705. Again, that's 850-565-1705. And don't hesitate either. You know, I talk to Jim about this all the time because a lot of people call in and they say, you know, David, well, what do I need to bring? You know, what do you need from me? It's not a crazy scenario. You can come in just with nothing, you know, ask me some questions or call and ask for questions. You know, there really is no obligation. We just want some feedback on what you guys need help with. I know there's a lot. I know that, you know, retirement is a big step. Planning for retirement's a big step. And I know that also, you know, being in the field, I know that people don't like to help out a lot. And, you know, there's a lot of money floating around everywhere. I know it's a tough place to be. That's why I love what I do. I had the passion to make things easier for you. And if you're out there and you need that help and you need some, you know, you need some freedom, you need some understanding, you need some education, that's when you can give me a call.
Have you seen scenarios where retirees unknowingly move into higher tax brackets because they're not maybe planning correctly for retirement? Is that a scenario that you've often seen?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time, Jim. And
I would imagine, sure.
It's funny because that's the one thing that I try to get someone to understand too is, first of all, no one's going to teach you how to take it out. But second of all, no one's going to teach you why it's not okay to take out certain amounts. And that's where I think if you do it efficiently and you have someone educate you on what you can do, how you can do it, and then plan with you, your life is just so much simpler, right? I mean, you know, clients with smiles walking out of my office, that's definitely what makes me love my job. But getting to that point, Jim, tax brackets are always going to be a problem. And when you retire, your tax deferred accounts, like we were just talking about, a lot of them are tax deferred. Don't think they're tax free and don't be scared about taking them out. Just know how to do it and try to understand and educate yourself on what to do, how much to take out, what tax bracket that's going to affect. And more than likely, it's going to be okay, right? Don't stress about it. And that's why I think it's so important to sit down with, you know, an actual plan and understand these things and educate yourself, because you want to know where your money goes. You want to know how it's affecting your lifestyle. You want to know how it's affecting your taxes, your tax brackets. So these things are super important. I just don't feel like everybody's talking about them and giving people insights, because no one wants to talk about someone taking money out. Everyone wants to talk about investing it, right? Give me all your money and let me make you money and don't worry about it. You can take it out when you want. These tax deferred assets are the most important part of an actual retiree's life. They're the most, I believe, they're the most important asset in any retirement lifestyle. It really is, because if you use it the wrong way, it could make or break your retirement, right? That is your retirement plan. I mean, pensions went away for a reason, right? For